Hi, I was going to do something about visualization this evening, but I then was thinking that, quite a few of the posts that I do and some of the videos are talking about some of the, if you like, some of the kind of the touchy-feely stuff, about like self-talk and looking at your values and doing the inner work and this kind of thing, and of course, visualization. And these are all, there's a ton of these different, they're all important elements to recovery and to growth and to healing. But I guess what is very striking is that whilst these are really important, if you're in the throes of an addiction and you're spending all your money on alcohol or gambling or porn or a shopping addiction or anything else, gaming and that, or betting, then you're not really going to be too fussed about visualization and your self-talk, because you're going to be in survival mode, which is where a lot of people are when they're in the throes of an addiction or when they've relapsed badly and they're back in the cycle again. And this can be really devastating for anybody, because that survival mode, and I mean, I talked about that a couple of months ago in a video where I was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and one of our basic needs is like food, water, and shelter, and just to survive. So if you're in the throes of an addiction and your finances are being threatened or they're being gobbled up, then that very basic need is under threat. So you're in survival mode for sure. And anybody who's in survival mode, and I've been there as well, it's not pleasant. It's kind of, you're not really looking too much to the future. You might be in some kind of spiral, or things are not working out for you, so you're just trying to get through day to day. Other things, like not necessarily with an addiction, but if you lose a job or a health issue comes up or anything that throws you, and you're suddenly in survival mode, so you're thinking just basically to get through the next day, and that sort of long-term relax, let's plan the future goes out the window. And it's very much part of the human condition, and it's part of life. So, the touchy-feely stuff is like, well, Jane, how's that relevant to me? I'm in the middle of an addiction and I'm just wondering where I'm going to get my next fix, and that's all I'm thinking about. And, or I've relapsed and these cravings have taken over, so I'm not bothered about visualization or my self-talk. And that's completely understandable, because you are in survival mode. So you won't be able to consider these other aspects, which are really significant and important as part of recovery, because they help you to grow and see things better and more objectively. So I guess the question is, how do you go from survival to recovery mode, where you can feel a little better and get a little bit of breathing space? Well, the answer is that you will need to get help. You need to get help from somewhere. You have to find a resource where somebody, or some online group, face-to-face, a therapist, and that's myself included, and I'm holding my hand up here, is to get in touch with a therapist or a group to help you. And that alone will help you feel an element of relief, because it takes a bit of pressure off. You get a chance to explain your situation, and you won't feel so much in survival. You'll have somebody in your corner, and that relieves that loneliness and panic and terror, which a lot of people feel very, very scared when they're in an addiction, because they're terrified of those cravings coming back, of losing their money, of just being taken over by these urges and cravings, which do take over, because the brain becomes rewired when it's a compulsive addiction. And really, you will need help. Some people just ask for advice, but you cannot give advice to somebody. You need to actively want help, so you're open to it. We all kind of consciously know what we need to do, so you can give somebody advice, but what are they going to do with it? You actually actively need to seek and engage with help and have somebody in your corner, and that will take you out of, certainly will help to get you out of survival mode. Because I said, you've got somebody in your corner, and it will relieve that loneliness and that the self-loathing. and feeling that so when you don't feel so alone, it will help you enormously and help you step forward towards that recovery process. And then that will allow you to start to entertain more those ideas of growth and potential, and looking at your values and your self-talk, and to begin that process, which, as I've said, doesn't necessarily need to be a long process at all, with the right help and the right therapy. So all of these posts about, the touchy-feely stuff is really important. It's all part of it. And it's all part of that hierarchy of needs. It's just a little bit higher up. Let's say, I think it's about the third or the fourth level. But when you're in survival mode, you're very much down on the bottom one. So you're not going to be thinking of level 2 or level 3 and 4. So you've got to get to a point where you can start to consider levels 3 and 4, which will get you out of addiction, get you understanding the root cause of your addiction, understanding why you got there in the first place. And then that will help you to, swerve your triggers or recognize them, and just create more interesting, creative activities in your life that will just distract you long term, rewire your brain, so you just move away from addiction. And it is very, very possible to rewire your brain. It's called neuroplasticity, and it happens every day of the week. We all do it, actually, like unbeknownst to ourselves. When you're thinking about something different constantly, you start to focus on it constantly. There are lots of different aspects to it, so this could be a much longer video. But really, that my point is to get from that survival mode up to a place of where you're actively recovering, and then looking at all these other really important, essential issues. You need to get that help and that support, and have somebody in your corner who wants to get you there, on the proviso that you want to get there first and foremost, because you have to want it. You have to want to get there, and then that help and support will help you even further. Okay, so I hope that's been helpful for you. Do share this video if you want to, and get in touch with me if you'd like to have a chat about how I can help you. Bye for now.